Well, I just wanted to ask you a few questions about Total Life. There's been a lot said about its difference from Antidotes, the way that it's changed and your style has changed. I wanted to ask, how much of that change was a result of environment and the exterior sort of context, and how much was a change within yourselves as musicians that changed your style?
Well, I think that, for us it didn't really feel like that much of a change in some ways. I think all of it was inside us, and then I think it was just like exacerbated by the fact that we were in a basement with no sunlight entering for a few months, and then we were in Sweden where there was only cold sunlight. But I think the formative change happened in our minds, but only in the sense that we just didn't feel like we needed to repeat ourselves.
Yeah. I've heard a lot about this basement in Oxford. How important is your surrounds when it comes to controlling your albums and your own music and style?
I think we liked the idea. Definitely at that point in time it was the right decision. We'd been on tour for like two years or something, and the period before then had been one where we'd still had jobs, like we were doing like bar jobs and data entry kind of stuff, and like so when we were kind of shot out of the other end of the touring cycle, instead of having to deal with like the realities of adult life, we decided to basically have like this weird boys' house, like and it was like a fortress against the things that are pernicious and boring and pedestrian about returning home after being on tour for 2 years. And it allowed us to be self-sufficient, and it allowed us to play whenever we felt like it. We never had to deal with some money man at some studio, or had to like have rigid playing structures or anything. I think it made us feel like we were 15 again, and that we were just jamming, and there was no pressure and there was no product.
Coming at this, first of all, as a journalist, but also a fan, I really enjoy your guys' work. The song Spanish Sahara, to me that sums up the soundscape nature of the album and how beautiful it is. What does that song mean to you, and what was it like to create?
It was pretty, it came about quite freely actually. It wasn't one that was laboured over. I think that often the stuff that we enjoy the most and that seems to communicate the most is the stuff that's the least worked over. So it was basically just a chord sequence that Jimmy had, and then I spent a couple of nights doing lyrics on it, and then we just played it together. And it means, it means what it means.
The film clip as well, the icy landscape, to me, sums up the way that the song itself makes me feel. Was it a direct representation of the core of the song itself to you?
It definitely is the closest thing to the visual landscape that I had in my mind when I was thinking about like the setting of the song. Was this meant to be this almost like lunar plain, like some apocalyptic, ravaged but like beautifully desolate environment? And short of going to the moon or to like outer Mongolia, the Gobi Desert, that was the closest to somewhere that could capture that. And it also meant like that was the cheapest video we've ever made, and it was also the least pleasant video ever because it was just harrowing, and so I don't know, it seemed to fit.
One of the most impactful things for me for Total Life is its duality. It could make you dance, and it can make you feel so much. Is it difficult to pack both those sides into an album without losing the impact of either?
I think it was important for us to represent different sides within the album. I'd say there were songs you can dance to, and there were songs that you probably can't dance to that have a bit more emotive punch to them. I don't know. There's a lot of music that we've all liked for years, which is primarily dancing and doesn't really do anything else. I think it's quite easy to do that. It's a trap you can fall into. It's not particularly fulfilling. I think it's very hard to do, yeah. I hope we pulled it off on a couple of occasions.
I saw you play at Splendour in the Grass up in Queensland last year, and what blew me away was your precision on stage. It sort of looked like science and art thrown together. Is that ability from practicing like a crazy person all the time, or is it something less tangible?
Well, I don't think we feel. I think it's muscle memory basically, and a lot of the time I think we're kind of sloppy live, but I think it's kind of in a good way. I don't think we're not like a note perfect band. Like definitely the singing's not note perfect live, and there are bum notes on the guitar here and there, and there's scrappy bits and there's improvised bits, but that's the charm. Like I think we play like human beings on stage, and there are some bands that seem to play like animatronic creations of their record, and so I think whatever happens, like we definitely want to keep the show being like feral and free.
We're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
Sorry, they can't get to these
No worries.
space.
Yeah. Can I, maybe 1 more minute?
Yeah, sure.
I might ask you then, Yannis, just quickly. I know you're a fan of Bukowski, the poet, and he happens to be one of my favourites. And at the end of one of his poems, Bluebird, says, "There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too clever. I only let him out at night sometimes when everybody's asleep. I say, I know that you're there, so don't be sad. And then I put him back. But he's singing a little in there. I haven't quite let him die. And we sleep together like that, with our secret pact, and it's nice enough to make a man weep, but I don't weep, do you?" What I wanted to ask was, how do you interact with the bluebird in your heart? And is Total Life a glimpse into your interaction?
Yes.
That's one hell of a question.
I'd like to answer that question properly, but I don't feel like I can right now.
Yeah. I understand. Well, thank you so much for your time, guys. I'm glad you've come to Adelaide again. Yeah. Anything else you wanted to
I was
add?
going to ask if I could read that.
Yeah, of course.
Edwin.
Have that. It's got the rest of my notes there. Yeah. It's, I mean... that's so much more impactful because the man Bukowski was. He was rough and horrible and terrible on the outside. Yeah. And in my readings, that's the best glimpse I've seen to the person inside. And, yeah.
Can I keep this?
Of course. Please do. All right. Well, thank you guys. It's been great to talk to you, and enjoy the show tonight. I'll be out there, and I'll be loving it. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. See ya.
I'm so sorry. Did you get what you needed?
Yes,
Oh,
I
thank
did.
God. It's just like it felt like around Central Station.
Yeah, why can't we put us
Well, I think that you can do it in there, but that's your dressing room, and I don't think that's the appropriate place for you to do it, to be honest.
Alright, it's just this question's really good, and we just gave like enough
Well-
answers because we can't hear it.